Previously on the Cult Show.
Fancy girls in their fancy dresses and their lipstick. Laughing and dancing. But you stop them, don't you? I can't stop them. But you do, don't you?
'70s were a formative period for me, and it was a great period for serial killers. The reason for that was we ran out of money.
She sells it so well, and she's sweating, and it's just like, oh God, it's giving me chills and goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, that was effective. I hear this voice that I forget Joe is there for. That's my director. Listen to him.
Okay, the song that was used during that photo shoot scene.
Right.
Yes.
What's it going on?
Going through his show.
Going through his show
Yeah.
now. Where did that come from? How did that come to be?
Okay, one of the investors that Judd Hamilton brought in was a music producer who, one of the groups that he had was Kid Creole and the Coconuts. And it was a band modeled after, there was a bigger band. King Creole and the Coconuts was sort of a copy of that, of this much more popular band.
Okay.
And anyway, so he gave us 5 songs for $50 each.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you own the rights to that song?
No, just to use in the movie.
Oh, just to, okay. Just
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
movie.
we couldn't
Okay.
use it on soundtrack or anything, but
okay.
$50. I mean, a song that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
And it's perfect timing to that song. I always love that. It's a little foreshadowing. We're going to a showdown.
I never thought of it, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I just think it was. I don't know. It's just so. It's just again the juxtaposition of that. You know, what you're hearing the score and everything beforehand, and all of a sudden,
It's
bounce,
popping
bounce,
like
bounce.
Come on, ladies, looking good. Closer. That's beautiful. That really looks good. How's your lipstick?
What else you got?
Oh, I got many things. Well, because I like to jump around a little bit. So
Jump away.
The remake.
Yes.
You're a producer of that film. I like it. I like the remake. I love the original. Why do you think some of us like both, though? Why do you think that remake works when so many horror fans hate other remakes?
Well, to be honest, my credit as producer is an honorary credit. I really had no hand in producing. I was on the set literally one day. I was on the set. I licensed the rights for them to make a remake. And part of it, they wanted to give me a producer credit, and some other credit they gave me on there.
Yeah.
And it was so that I would be associated with it. And then I was invited to the premiere in Cannes. And that was the extent of my work.
You got a trip to Cannes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was on the red carpet. I was on French television. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
But the highlight of the evening was after the movie was over, the audience gave it a standing ovation. And I stood up and I looked behind me, and about 6 rows behind me was Sasha Grey, the porn star, and I lock eyes with her, and I said, "Oh my God, my computer has come alive." And I locked eyes, and she came to the after party, and I was so delighted, and she was so sweet.
Did she sign anything for you?
I wasn't thinking about an autograph.
Did she sign your computer screen or yeah?
You're right. Good point.
Yeah, that was my involvement.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a bad movie. I like yours more, but it's not a bad film.
Well, I didn't think it was a bad film. I was, my only disappointment was when Elijah got hired, I really thought they should have abandoned the POV idea, because you have a world-class actor.
Right.
I want to see him.
That's a really good point.
That was my only disappointment. Secondarily, I thought they not shooting it in New York. LA looks clean everywhere you put a
Does look-
camera,
Yeah.
and it just looked too pristine and too nice.
Yeah.
The major thing for me was the not seeing enough of Elijah Wood.
Okay.
Really
That's a
good
really
actor,
good point. He is. Yeah.
So back
and
to
a heck of a nice guy, by the way.
yeah, is he?
Yeah.
And he's a horror fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So-
He has a
No,
podcast.
we
I know, yeah.
we became friendly after the movie.
Okay.
Aw.
And well, we went for lunch on the movie. That's when I met him. But afterwards, we would run into each other, and it was, you
Yeah.
know, it was we became friendly.
Back to the original film.
Yes.
There's a scene there that reminds me of something like you'd see from like a Fulci film, and that's the end when he's at his mother's grave, and when she comes out and reaches for him.
Yeah, but that was a ripoff of Carrie.
That wasn't
Plain
more
and
of Carrie.
simple. Yeah.
But it just seemed more like it was more of something you'd see
Yeah,
from at the
Fulci vibes.
House by the
Yeah.
Cemetery kind of thing with
Yeah.
the zombie and the
Yeah.
I don't know, that kind of thing.
Fair,
Whereas
fair.
Carrie's just a hand or whatever. you
True.
know?
Yeah.
True.
That
that's,
remind me
that's
more
true.
of a.
Well,
I just
I
love
like
it
the
because
gooey.
maybe it was a
Yeah.
combination, but the beat was I called it the Carrie beat.
right.
Okay.
It was the Carrie beat, but and it worked.
No, yeah.
I used to love
great.
to stand in the back of the theater and watch the audience jump.
Yeah.
yeah.
Boy.
Please, please, Mommy, please. Please don't lock me in the closet.
Mommy has to punish you.
I love Joe's reaction to it. I think it's just so cool that like just kind of that sobbing he does after he realizes it's just a vision or whatever, and that
Yeah.
sobbing that he does is just so good.
That's another time where he twists the knife and you're like, why do I feel bad?
Exactly.
Yeah, but you do.
For that guy. And then from there, of course, it culminates. So he goes home, and then that's where the epic
I love it. Even though I've
the
seen
women
it,
come back.
even though I've seen it so many times, I just wait for that moment when they all turn on. I love it. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
must have
It was
been.
clever.
So you didn't have any. I'm guessing you didn't have any second unit in this film, like to do anything. It was just you guys going. So all the effects were done by you were all there on set. is what I'm
Actually, I
saying.
think the only second unit was Andy Garone shooting the New York skyline
Okay.
from New Jersey,
Oh.
from his father's apartment. He
Okay.
was shooting the skyline. We needed a sunrise. We needed a nighttime, and
Yeah.
he took the camera. That was the only time I wasn't there.
We're there.
Yeah.
Okay. So to shoot that scene with where he's getting the arm chopped off and the
Yeah.
stomach
Oh, I was
stabbed in
there.
the head.
Yeah, all
So
come
I know.
apart.
So I'm just thinking, how long did it take to do that? Was that a?
It was a long day.
Okay.
It was a very long day, and my crew quit on me.
Really?
Yeah. They just said, this is not right. We're working into 20 some odd hours. And I said, guys, I got to be out of the studio, and I got no choice. I got to finish the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was some shots there that I had to actually shoot it myself, and Andy Garone with a skeleton crew, we were shooting it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Jeez.
they didn't think we knew what the hell we were doing, to
Okay.
be honest. And they were working where their overtime was what's called a deferment, meaning they weren't getting paid. Then they were going to get paid later on down the road. And all these people had worked on movies that promised to pay them later,
Right.
and they never
Never
did.
did. Yeah.
We did.
Okay.
Right.
Everybody got paid. Because the movie was successful.
Right.
Every one of those people, and but they all thought at the time when we were making the movie, like, what the fuck, these guys they don't know
Getting
what
paid.
they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't know. They're clueless as to what they're doing.
Wow.
So I'd love to ask you a little bit about the poster. I love that poster.
I know.
How involved were you with that?
None at all.
Not at all.
I was called to the, our distributor the U.S. distributor on Maniac was a company called Analysis Film Corporation. They were really the Miramax of their day. They were distributing art house movies, and Maniac was their first genre film.
Oh, okay.
The two guys running it, you can call them. You could have called them the Weinsteins, because they were two guys, friends from Long Island, who were totally nuts. When we go into their office, think Scarface.
Cocaine everywhere.
With the mountain.
Cocaine everywhere. They would have whose dick is bigger than the other contest. They would have, that was their form of entertainment.
Wow.
Wow.
And they were really nuts. But Joe used to come to my office and go, well, my office was at the time was about 3 blocks from theirs. Joe would come over first to my place, and he'd go, well, I'm going to go over to Analysis. We're going to have a marketing meeting. I know why he was going there. It was no secret.
Marketing.
Of course.
Yeah, he's having a marketing meeting. He's having a marketing meeting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one day I get a call from the guys who go, we have the poster. We have the artwork. You got to come and see it. I come to their office. I look at this. I go, oh, my God. Because there would never been a poster like that. I mean, the guy has an erection in his pants. It's clear as day,
Right.
with a knife next to it.
Yeah.
And he's standing in a pool of blood.
And a scalp.
And he's got a scalp in it. And it's like, what is this? What is this? I really didn't know what to make of it, and I had nothing to do with it. I never met the artist, although I wish I had. I never met the artist who did it, and it was just it was like a lightning rod. They had created the lightning rod that gave Maniac its reputation.
Yeah.
Because with that poster, they pissed off everybody. There was nobody they didn't piss off. They pissed off the critics.
Yeah.
They pissed off everybody you can imagine. The theater owners, they pissed off because the theater owners wouldn't put the poster up in
Right.
front of their theaters. Their reasoning was, we have to live here. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just controversy over controversy because of that poster.
Wow.
And but it gave the film the longevity, I think. It gave that extra momentum to the film.
I was gonna say, with the controversy too, did you have people like cussing you out in the streets?
Cussing,
moms?
I actually got letters of death threats.
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
coming to the office.
Because of the poster or the
The whole
movie?
No,
thing?
because of the whole thing.
Okay.
I mean, the poster was there. But here's the twist. And it's on the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray that's on Blue Underground of Maniac. There is a disc of extras. And one of the extras is a woman. Oh, here it is. You got it in this shot?
Maniac. I also can put it like right here between you.
Yeah. We can make it.
It'll get big,
there.
though.
Anyway,
Yeah.
since we're talking about it, I'll give it to Freddie
Get
here.
it to Freddie there. Yeah.
Anyway, so there was a woman, young woman, in front of a movie theater on Hollywood Boulevard holding up the ad for the movie. And she had a press conference. She hadn't seen the movie. She was saying, this is a movie that shows how women can get stalked and killed every day. And she's showing, she was part of the National Organization of Women.
Okay.
A year or so later, she was being arrested for being an accomplice to a murder.
Oh.
Hypocrite.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That occurred, by the way, before her standing
Before
out
the,
there.
oh, really?
Right.
Yeah, she had, with her boyfriend, she was posing as a prostitute, and her boyfriend would rob the Johns.
Ah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horror movie opened tonight in Hollywood officially and all over the Los Angeles area. There's a lot of controversy over this one, which is why we're paying attention to it. Feminists in particular have said that this is a film that promotes harm to women. Ann Martin has more on it right now. Ann.
Christine, the movie is Maniac, and the billboards themselves are pretty gruesome.
Moviegoers tonight told me the plot is a man who hated his mother goes out and kills women. Besides the billboard, the picture is also advertising as the movie the LA Times wouldn't run ads for. Now, President Eleanor Smeal had this reaction to the billboard.
All I can say is that when you talk about violence towards women and brutality, this just typifies it, and I think that it is shocking, and it contributes to the injury of women.
Just goes to show you, we said it 100 times, the people who, the horror community, the people that are here, you know, are typically the most well-adjusted and best
Nice,
people in the
kind
world.
people,
It's all
yeah.
the wackos who don't understand horror and typically are causing the problem.
Well, I mean, look, you know, every time I see, like, you know, like Mike Pence on TV, you know, condemning gay people and stuff, I always say, okay, the clock starts now as to when he's going to get caught.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's true, though.
Yeah, countdown to when he's going to get caught.
Get
Yeah.
caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With an underage.
Yeah. And his
exactly.
wife, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Jeez.
I could see a real hot couple there.
that's the real horror. Yeah.
By the way, did you know that Freddy was the son of 100 maniacs?
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, no one? Seriously? I get nothing out of that?
No, I thought it was great. I
Okay.
thought it was great.
That's part 3, people. Part 3.
Part 3. But besides all the bad stuff, I bet you got lots of nice letters too, and
No.
lots of people.
No.
Nothing. Nobody told you I want to be a filmmaker because of your movie. No,
No.
nothing.
No.
No, they didn't like it.
Wow.
Okay.
Maniac didn't become. The tide turned on Maniac, I would say, probably for some reason about 10 years ago.
Really?
I found maybe a little bit more, maybe 15 years ago. The tide turned on Maniac, and suddenly what had been, you know, strongly criticized in every imaginable way, suddenly started to get more favorable reviews. And I've seen a shift, and it's been interesting. And now it's almost, you know, it's like it gets shown at the Cinémathèque Française in France and
Right.
gets shown in prestigious museums. And
Yeah.
it was shown recently, you know, the Museum of the Moving Image in New York. And I'm like, wait, you really calling up for Maniac to show at this museum and that? And
Yeah.
it got shown at the in France December. I was invited.
Yeah.
But for the fact I fractured my ankle, I was going to. There's a cinema called the Max Linder Cinema in Paris, which is like, you know, the big art house theater, and they were going to show. They did show Maniac, but without me there. But I was going to be on stage and
Do like a Q&A.
yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
like, you know, suddenly the movie's become this kind of somewhat respectable, I hate to say.
You hate to say, yeah. It's always fun being underground, but
Well, I kind of thought we were punk, you know,
Yeah.
punks. We were punk. We were like the equivalent of the Ramones and the Clash and
Right.
Right.
all of that. You know, we kind of
But it always goes mainstream once the
Yeah,
people, you
yeah.
know, because they want to be they want to be punks too.
maybe,
So then they get their hands on it.
maybe. But I also think it's a period of filmmaking where there were no rules. And you had movies like Dawn of the Dead, and you had movies like Maniac and Chainsaw Massacre and Evil Dead, and you know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the movies today still are more. They may show more blood and gore, and they may have, you know, bigger effects and stuff like that, but there was something visceral about the movies in the period of the 70s and, you know, when you think back to those classic horror films, there was a visceral aspect to those films, and Maniac definitely has that. And it's something you just somehow don't feel that today.
Right.
You may enjoy it superficially, but you don't have that same,
reaction.
you know, like the rule book is gone. You know, anything can happen.
Right.
Right.
You know, we'd go to see these movies in that period. You didn't know what you were in for. You know,
Right.
and now you kind of can figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of know the ending before the movie starts.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you keep up with the horror coming out today.
You see everything.
Yeah, you still.
I mean,
who do
Neil
you
can
like?
tell you.
Yeah, who do you like that's out now making horror movies? What was the last good one you saw?
Well, I'll tell you. The last great one that I saw was Night Shifter.
heard a lot about that.
Yeah. I haven't
The
seen it, though.
Brazilian
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Okay.
Really, really clever, and scary as hell. I saw it, and I don't get scared that easily. I was watching, boy, that movie is creepy.
Ooh,
That movie is really creepy.
Did you ever hear from filmmakers then, at some point after the film was released, about this film was wonderful, great, it helped me do something? At any time? I mean, some must have come on, like Eli Roth, or
Yeah.
some people must have
Eli.
said this film is...
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino was a big fan
Okay.
of Maniac. He told me that I had given him the laser disc of the movie back then. Laserdisc in the
Oh, yeah.
in the 90s was the
I had one.
was the primo format, and he was dating Mira Sorvino, and he showed her Maniac, and he was telling me with glee how she reacted to it.
Which was what?
Pretty horrified.
Not really.
Favorable.
Pretty horrified. Yeah, I think Quentin had his taxi driver moment with her, you know, taking her
Showing her
watching
that.
the laser disc of Maniac.
That's funny.
And Eli, and it was, you know, and Stephen King
Yeah.
was very complimentary about the picture, and I've had this guy just recently, the Japanese director of Midnight Meat Train.
Meat Train.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
He was like really, you know, excited. You know, I love Maniac. I love Maniac Cop, and you know, really nice people. You know, we have these Masters of Horror dinners, and
I'm jealous. They always ask, get me in, but...
Yeah, right? I'll go pour wine at it. I mean, I can do that.
Well, we keep it closed for a reason, because we want to be able to talk candidly, and you know, and not have any press or girlfriends and wives there. You know, you just or boyfriends in the case of some people, and yeah. Anyway, so I get told, you know, a lot of people like
Good.
Maniac.
Good.
It was an impressionable film for them.
Right.
There's a poster, I think it was one of the overseas posters for Hostel, is a pretty good ripoff of the Maniac poster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the guy even got a real erection for it. The whole deal. Yeah, for the photo shoot.
Oh, you're
Fun
right.
fact.
I remember. I
You
saw
remember,
that.
yes.
I saw
Yeah.
that poster. I don't. God, you know, I never actually got it. I should have seeked it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Another one of those Steven outright artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, when something's effective and you want to...
They want an homage.
Hopefully it's paying homage exactly
Yeah.
to what it is. So, you know what we haven't talked about yet? The fact that Bill's in the movie. Did you know that?
Let's talk about it.
well, I'm only in there for like a second.
It's
But
like a minute.
it was. I'm the desk clerk. Yeah, that's what happens. This is how shitty you look. This is how shitty you look. You know, 40 years later. I was 24 years old.
Yeah. You're a real creep in that movie.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, let's put it this way: I'm a little tolerant of some of the women's activities, but I'm not.
Well, at the end, though, you're kind of like, "What do you want, honey?" or whatever,
Yeah,
or something like that,
exactly.
after they go upstairs to the lady.
Yeah.
But anyway,
They gotta pay the rent.
Joining us for continental breakfast.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I threw that in.
I loved it. I loved it.
But I'll tell you something. The thing about that was, Joe wanted me to be in the movie. He says, "You're going to be in the movie." I go, "No, Joe, I don't want to be in the movie. You're going to be in the movie. You're going to be in the movie. You're going to be the desk clerk. You're going to be the desk clerk." I go, "No, Joe, come on. There's nothing there." He goes, so we're doing it, and Joe comes in. He's dead serious when he enters the scene. And he starts writing stuff, you know, like I give him the card to register, and he'll write stuff and turn it around. And with his face is like totally without anything.
Yeah.
And I'm reading something so stupid that he wrote on this thing, like, suck my dick or something. He'd write on there. He'd write all these things just to crack me up.
Right.
So we had to do take after take after take. Because I kept cracking up. And the thing is I found the footage when we were doing the new 4K. I actually found the footage, and every take, at the end of the take, I'd be laughing. But I had no sound. I had the picture, but I had no sound.
oh man,
Yeah, so I didn't put it on the disc, but it was,
that's awesome.
yeah, I'd be cracking
Oh,
up.
man. He sounds like a really, really cool guy. Like he would have been fantastic to
He was insane.
Get to work with.
Look, everybody loved him, even though at times everybody wanted to kill him. And he lived life. He was insane. He was insane. He was in a good way. In a good way. He was crazy.
Right.
But he was just a lot of fun. He was at his funeral, what I remember us all saying, we're burying a million laughs because he made us laugh. He made us laugh, and and everybody he worked with loved him, and I didn't realize how rare that is, when big stars will go out of their way, to come up to him, Al Pacino, they all loved the guy. They just loved him.
Wow.
Well, first they respected him as an actor, but he was also the guy on the set who was the most fun. He'd be the guy, he would open the doors for the women. He would always be the real gentleman, and and he would talk to the Teamsters. They all loved him.
Yeah.
He would go to the Teamsters and
Yeah.
joke around with them, and
Bill, anything coming up that you want to talk
Yeah,
about,
where can we
or
find ya?
yeah, or tell people what they can look at? Anything about Blue Underground? Maybe you wanna mention?
We have. We just came out with New York Ripper, which, for those of you who are fans of Maniac, I mean that's kind of a Maniac-like Lucio Fulci movie set in New York.
Great movie.
We're working on now the restoration of House by the Cemetery, the 4K restoration, and and I'm working currently on the Maniac Cop TV series.
Wow, that'll be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Is that going to be obviously similar storyline? I'm guessing. Just
it's a lot changed.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
It's written by Ed Brubaker, and my friend Nick Winding Refn is going to be directing, as well as John Heim, who has the Black Sunday show on Netflix right now.
Okay. Wow, that's cool.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talented people involved.
That's got to be
Okay.
extremely fulfilling when something you did
Kinda
30,
comes full
40 years
circle.
later,
Yeah.
someone wants to remake it or redo it. That's got to make you feel, I would assume, pretty good.
I've had my fair share of sequels and remakes, so I'm happy about that. My movie Relentless spawned 3 sequels.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And but hey,
We're waiting
So
for
lucky.
Uncle Sam too. We're waiting for that
Yeah.
do you know I was offered to do Uncle Sam too?
one. Were you?
Because it was a big success on video,
Okay.
and the company that put
I have
the
it
video
behind
out.
you, by the way. I have Uncle
Right,
Sam
I
on,
was-
on
Really?
VHS.
I was gonna say, I think
Yep.
it's back there
Oh.
It's back
somewhere.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it also had a lenticular cover, I think.
The VHS?
Yeah.
Really? The
Yeah.
one we have doesn't, but
Oh well.
I must have got the one from Walmart or something. I don't know. But anyway,
Hey, well, thank you for inviting me down to this basement.
to the basement. Thank you for coming. I think we'll promise to let you out if you promise to maybe come back again.
I will come back
someday.
again.
Yeah.
And we'll have some better
Yeah.
water for you. We'll have.
Throw me
Love
maybe
the rocks.
throw me a popcorn kernel for some nourishment on my way out.
You got it. Whatever it takes. All right,
Yeah.
so Maniac, 1980 film. Everyone, if you haven't seen, please go check it out.
What are you doing with your life if you haven't seen this movie? Call yourself a horror fan?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question. But great film. And again, we can't say enough about Joe Spinell and his acting in the film. Your
and
directing.
to put a period on Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
What he said to me, he said one day while we were shooting, he goes, "Your direction is making me lose my erection."
And on that note,
Right?
we fade to black. Thank you, Bill.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Experience your favorite horror, comedy, and science fiction films of the 70s, 80s, and 90s on the big screen with the Cult Film Series at Roxy 14. Double features Thursdays at 7 p.m. Visit us on Facebook for more information.
Hey, so welcome back. We just had a nice conversation with Bill Lustig, and now here we are finishing our pretzels.
Yeah, pretzels all around.
Pretzels. They're so great to eat.
Yes, do you like hearing our crunch?
Yeah.
So, Maniac,
What do you do?
Bill enlightened us with some wonderful stories
Yes.
about Joe Spinell and the production and all kinds of cool stuff. So, now for our little editorial, if you will, of the film, I guess, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
So, what? Anything stand out for you? What is it about this film that you've watched several times? What makes you come back to it?
That's a good question. I think there's like very distracting.
Sorry.
No,
No, not at all.
no,
Please,
totally
continue.
fine. Please, have
Not more.
Yeah.
More, yeah.
Don't let me stop you. Yes. So I think a lot of what I respond to in this movie is just the gritty kind of grossness of it. To be honest, it's gory. It's a time and a place that I didn't live, but I've heard about when New York was like this cesspool and this really scary place to be.
Right.
And I feel like he really captured that kind of moment in time. I'm fascinated by Frank as a character. Like, first of all, I love the performance. I think it's brilliantly acted.
Yeah.
But and now knowing how much of like he put into that too, just is really, really cool. But like where you do have a little bit of compassion for him, and you're still like, oh my gosh, this guy is a monster. But there's something really a realness that comes through.
Yeah.
In that performance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like you said, it's just you have this. It's the compassion that you feel for him,
Yeah.
even though he is because he is so clearly traumatized
Oh,
and has
God.
these major mommy issues.
Well, I mean, like
You know.
the moment it starts out and you see he has these scars on his chest, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, that can't be good. And then you learn about like the horrible things he went through in his life, and you're like, why do I feel bad? Why do I feel bad for this horrible person? You feel really like conflicted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the way
Yeah.
just the way I mean, like you said, the grittiness, the fact that it was shot in 16 millimeter
Yes.
film, of
Yeah.
course, gives it a gritty look when they blow it up to 35.
Oh, yeah.
And then put it on, Blu-rays and everything that it's on now, 4K copies and all this kind of stuff. It always retains that gritty look, and it adds so much to it. Like you said, it's almost like you're peering into an actual, like a snuff film at sometimes.
Yes.
Because-
yes, that's it exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really uncomfortable, but at the same time you can't really look away, and you're like
Right.
really compelled. There's that train wreck thing.
Yeah.
To be like, well, how far is this gonna go? Like, where is this guy gonna take this? Is he gonna be caught? Is he just gonna like keep murdering? Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and how graphic can they get it? I mean,
Yeah.
Again, I always go back to that awesome scalping scene in the beginning with. Yeah, I mean that's just like such a great scene that it's just like it's
So gross. It really holds up.
it does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so
Yeah.
wonderful. I mean I couldn't
Yeah.
think of anything that would be better than that these days.
No. It makes me flinch just thinking
Well,
about those scenes.
so I had never seen this movie before until
Right.
just
Yes.
now. But when we had Lance on, and we were talking about what's your favorite
Yeah.
Tom Savini kill, you brought this up, and I had no reference,
Right.
but that had always kind of stuck with me because that was the first thing you mentioned when Lance asked you what's your favorite kill,
Yeah.
by Tom Savini. So, seeing it was
You're like, oh, I get it. Yeah.
yeah. Now I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's brutal. And it was so cool though. Then we hear Bill talk about the fact that wasn't auditioned for him. It was like, do the gag. We're just gonna film it, and he had full faith in Tom and his skills
Whatever
to make
happens,
it work.
happens.
Yeah,
and-
it happened.
yeah.
And it wasn't even. It was in Tom's room, his own apartment they
Yes.
bought for him. His own flat, and he
Oh,
was
how crazy is this?
just did it in there.
And this is like stuff I don't think that happens anymore. Like in filmmaking,
exactly,
there's
yeah.
like weird little magical things like that.
yeah.
Well, but so this was kind of like a guerrilla filmmaking,
Yes, yeah.
now everything's on a set. Now, that grittiness that you're talking about.
So polished.
Yes, it was 60 millimeter film, but yeah, he was also filming in New York.
Yeah.
There were no sets. That was
Yeah.
just as real as it gets,
Yeah.
So, and people don't really do that anymore because they need this controlled environment where, everything can be perfect.
Yeah.
And sometimes when everything's perfect,
Yeah, you don't connect with it as well.
yeah.
That's for sure.
You can tell that it's fake.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's because some of the details are organic like that, and then some of the details, like we were talking about his lair, and that, okay, the pinups, and then he's like X'd out the genitalia, and you see that, and you're like, that's really disturbing, like that. And then there's the dolls and the mannequins everywhere, which we'll get to the mannequins later.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a pin in the mannequins.
Pin the mannequins. Okay.
Put a pin in that.
Maybe a nail.
To really secure it on there.
Attack,
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if that movie had been made today, I mean, it probably would have been like this performance that like a lot of indie darling people would be like, oh my gosh, it was so brilliant. It was like so raw. And it's like, yeah, and he did this in 1980 and it still holds up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you notice on his wall he had like a bunch of keys?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Did you notice that? Like,
yeah.
I sort of took that as like those were all like hotel room keys that he had. So they were all like
little trophies, you think?
Women that he had killed and like kept the key or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. Was that me or?
No, I think that's that could have been his motivation behind it too. He had some weird stuff in that room.
Yeah, no, he did.
Yeah.
You know, the doll hanging upside down with
that's a particular favorite. Yeah, that's a particularly creepy little detail.
I was going to ask
I own it. Yeah.
Bill about the whole set design, and he, of course, mentioned the whole thing about the fact that it was basically Joe.
Yeah.
And then one other guy or whatever, I guess, that did it, but a lot of that was Joe himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just getting into it and...
Like, what would this guy have in his little nest, his whole world? And of course, the shrine, the altar to Mother. Like, that's when you also know, like, oh, we're in trouble. Like, that's not normal.
Well, that.
Yeah.
That and telling the lady he's interested in, like, you're almost as beautiful as my mom.
Oh, I know. And he says it, like, with such earnestness, too, that you're like...
And she's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, like... It's what every girl wants to hear.
Yeah, not a red flag at all.
No, exactly.
That's what's so funny about the film, though, is how the movie goes from this one thing and then it hits that whole model thing and like almost like reboots itself into a whole other thing. Which,
and he becomes very normal.
Well, and he does, but yet even in his normal, he's still not. Like, I would never have been like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll go on a date with you. You can call me and I'll drop everything I'm doing and meet you in 15 minutes for dinner when I just met you. Kind of thing. And I mean, it's just funny because it's like, it's Joe. I mean, God rest your soul, and you did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
But you don't look 100% like the guy I would go out with when I first met you. I might want to know you a little bit first before I just agree to go out with you.
Well, that's really true.
But maybe the 80s or the 1979, 80 back in New York, you just like,
well,
it's
they didn't have Tinder yet. They didn't have OkCupid. They didn't have Match.com.
No.
You had to meet people just if they showed up on your doorstep and you just happened to take a picture of them with a kid and say like, oh, I was just thinking about you because I just developed that picture I accidentally
there was something
took.
about her, I think, that was like compelled by him, by like how different and strange he was. I mean, like watching it now as like, more of an adult person, when he's like mansplaining like photography to the photographer, and it's like, oh, okay. Cool story, bro. But like,
but also not a red flag. Like,
no,
I would keep it for myself because it's mine, and they'll be that way forever.
Yeah, exactly. It's really creepy. But I think that she, as like an artist, she was like attracted to like this guy who, because he doesn't like objectify her or anything. So I think that they connected on some sort of level like that. So it makes some sense.
But he's still a little pushy.
Well, yeah.
In the way he's like kind of talks to her and gets her to go out and the whole.
But not pushy in the way that she's probably used to.
Exactly.
Because
she's like, this
he
is
never
different.
like made any sort of sexual advance towards her.
No, exactly.
All he was pushy about was like, hey, let's go out, or hey, I'm just going to show up and
hey, let's go to my mother's
you'll let
grave.
me in, or hey, before we go to our date, let's go to my mom's grave.
Let's go to my mom's grave.
Who I already told you she's prettier than you are, by the way.
But it's cool. Yeah, it's totally
and she's like,
fine.
yeah.
Heck
She's so sweet.
Let's go meet mom.
I thought it was really kind of her to like want to go.
She's very accepting, for sure.
Well, because she doesn't know what we know. Like, she doesn't know about the shrine at home.
I mean, understood. You know, yes, we obviously as viewers know much more than she does, but still.
Yeah. No, it's true. Like, stranger danger nowadays.
Right?
That's true. We know more now.
And especially in New York, come on, like, you really should have your guard up a little more.
But again, back then, I mean, it was a lot seedier and all kinds of stuff going on in New York before they cleaned it up, you know, before...
Which means you should be extra more... extra more careful?
Extra more careful?
Extra more.
Is that right?
But she is not
more
from
extra.
this...
say that right for me.
Yeah. She isn't an American, though, so maybe she's...
Oh, okay. She's a foreigner, so
foreigners
they're
are
just
so
like,
different.
yes, sure.
Yeah, it's like Europe over here.
All right. I'll go to dinner with you.
Wow, it's like she's right here. That's exactly how it went.
Right?
Yeah.
Acting.
And speaking of Mother's Grave, too, I really like that scene in the movie. I love that she fights back and she hits him with the shovel. And that she's not, like, she tries to, like, reason with him for a minute. And then she's like, okay, I'm out. Bye. Like, this is crazy.
Right.
And, of course, just the whole arms through the grave thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an unreliable narrator, too, Frank, which I love in books and in movies.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's another compelling part of the story is, like, again, not knowing where he's going to go with this or where anything's going to go in the story.
Right. Good point.
Because it's not like he can have his girl that he's seeing over to the house at any point.
Right.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Not really sure what he thought he was going to do about.
Yeah, how far was he planning to take this relationship?
Right.
Yeah.
Because every other woman that he meets, he just kills
He can't
immediately.
help it.
So.
And you know what? Told you not to go out at night. It's on the cover of the movie.
Told you not to go out at night. That's right. I don't know. It's a good question. I wonder how long he would have
kept that going.
Kept that going, and what would have happened eventually.
But it's also nice, kind of refreshing that it didn't follow like all the normal, and maybe that, and obviously in 1980 they were still kind of writing all of
these tropes.
Yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't follow where you think it's going to go. But it doesn't. Yeah.
You know, that doesn't really happen. So
I like that.
That was a nice,
the whole thing,
pleasant surprise.
But it's funny that she got introduced just because they needed the money, right, to finish the film.
Yes.
And that's how the whole thing even started.
Right.
You know, so like it's almost like what would have happened. What was the original script without her?
Yeah.
Like what would have happened?
Oh, it's so enriched the script to like have her character in there and take it to that point. Definitely.
Especially with that song.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have Going to a Showdown.
Especially we wouldn't have Going to a Showdown.
That's so good.
Like it was, you know.
Oh my God.
What are they talking about? Good. Like, you know.
So good.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even. I don't even know what you had mentioned. Like maybe it's like a metaphor in a way, or
I see it as foreshadowing.
Or foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I think Bill was like $50. Yeah, done.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't know of it like that. But now when you watch the movie and like especially like on a rewatch, you're like, it's going down. It's about to all go down. So yeah, it's pretty telling.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's funny.
And you also can't be mad about Tom Savini's hair in that movie.
No, hell no.
No, you can't be mad about that.
Yeah, great hair in that
Disco
movie.
Boy was amazing.
Disco Boy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
That's a great scene in general. Just that whole.
His machismo and the way he was just dancing around the car quickly to get her, you know, and I mean, that whole scene. You come here often, or what did she say to him? He's like, oh yeah, all the time, or whatever it was, something like that, you know.
He's kind of like, let's like get to this.
Like he's admitting, like, oh yeah, I bring all my girls here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, kind of thing, and
I like the.
I have a boyfriend.
What was it?
Not here.
Do you want to meet me?
Yeah.
Do you want to meet me later, or you know?
Yeah.
Where? In the back seat.
In the back seat, yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Mom, Sophie.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, sure.
After just telling her she's got a boyfriend and she shouldn't be there.
Yep.
She's like, yeah, I'm not busy. It's cool.
And then to the back seat they go.
Not for long, though.
Not for long. Nope.
Yeah, also watching that scene, I was reflecting back. I was like, wow, cars' back seats were huge.
They were bigger back then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could fit like a whole Tom Savini and like a grown woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That was a good size. You're right.
Yeah.
Definitely doing that in a Prius.
No.
Which I have a Prius. I have a Prius C.
I didn't know that.
My car is awesome. It's black and hot pink. Wanda's seen it.
But can you make babies in the back seat?
Let's not go there. That's a whole other podcast
Is that different?
episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
Coming up
episode.
next.
Really? No, it's just a yes or no question. Jeez.
Then let's go with
babies
no.
in a Prius.
Let's go with no.
No, okay.
Let's go with no.
All right.
So
Are they hybrids if they do?
they are hybrids.
The kids.
The children are hybrids if it works. Yeah. So when we were talking about the grittiness,
Yeah.
it reminds me because we've talked a little bit about this too, about how real life scary kind of Frank is, and a lot of the scenarios in the movie. Like obviously when the girl's getting off work and she goes down into the subway, that's like really freaking scary because that's like real life. That's something that happens to people every day. Same thing with, I mean, obviously for the sex workers, that's completely horrifying. That's their,
Right.
real life. Same thing with, he takes the necklace, he pockets the necklace as an excuse to follow her. And she's clearly like, okay, like, thanks, bye. And it's like, oh gosh, like that's real life. Like that's how people really do this. And I think that's that added level of discomfort, a little tension.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very effective.
Yeah, no. Like I said, the whole point of that grittiness and all that things you mentioned is like almost
Yeah.
like you're looking into something happening.
Yes.
Like a real life, type scenario. and-
Right.
I don't know. When things are grittier, it's just almost like you're really looking at something for real.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
that whole polished look of
Right.
today.
Absolutely.
And that's why things like that, and even things like the cannibal Holocaust, there are some real things in that. But the things,
Unfortunately.
yes, but those
Yeah.
things that are grittier, like that, it's almost like you think you're looking at something real versus,
you shouldn't
It's
be
plausible.
watching this.
You I could see this happening. I know
Yeah.
it's not real usually.
So so it like triggers
but I
something
could
in
see
you.
this happening.
Yeah,
like-
and you're like, this, I shouldn't be watching this. Like, this is bad. Like, and this is too real. Yeah, no.
So you're saying like Maniac is like a serial killer handbook, kind of like
kind of? Yes. Yeah.
How-to guide.
How-to guide. Yes, exactly. And it's all just
Steal necklace.
Yes.
Return necklace.
Exactly.
She'll let you in every time.
Oh, and then like that was one of those things I didn't know about, that on doors back then, like that you could. Oh God, that's
Push the
scary.
button into-
yeah,
yeah.
and then you can just like let yourself in. It's like, well, that's a design flaw. Glad we kind of did away with
Right.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, and then and then just the fact you have Joe doing that breathing.
Yeah.
And the scene towards the beginning when he's choking the girl and he's on
Oh
top
my
of her.
gosh, and it takes so long.
And just his face, and he's just sweaty, and the hair, and the heavy breathing. It's just, it's. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of anything more horrifying as a person.
It's like a slow
But
death.
To have that as your final.
That's your death.
Yes.
Being choked
That's the
out by
last
this.
thing you see before you die is Joe Spinell fucking choking you
Choking you out.
Choking you out, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a very sweaty.
in a sweaty,
loud
breathing
one. So.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. No, you know what?
bad.
I'm probably gonna have nightmares tonight.
I'd rather have a clown or a skeksis,
Right.
take me out. So, but
I'm actually gonna pick Joe.
What about a clown skeksis?
there you go.
With a little nose on the end of its horrifying beak.
Right?
Yeah. A little hat. Yeah.
What would that sound like?
I don't.
I'm trying to think. Like,
It would sound like my nightmares.
like a horn honky skeksis.
Yeah, sounds like trauma. That's what it sounds like.
Chamberlain. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. I love talking to Bill and hearing about the controversy. Because I was like, oh, that's good. That's good stuff. Like, especially back then. Now,
Yep.
any troll can get on a message board and threaten to
Right.
kill somebody.
Yeah.
It's old news.
Yeah.
But, like, somebody had to sit down and write a letter. Like, they meant
is
it.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
And the fact that the lady protesting ended up being a murderer
A
herself.
murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some interesting
so-
stuff going on back then.
Yeah, and those are like
Right.
stories you're not going to hear anywhere else.
No, he's not
That we
telling
got
that
here.
to
Yeah,
to everybody.
like not even special feature stuff. That's like that's like cult show exclusive.
Exclusive.
We broke it here first.
Yeah, exactly. What happens on the couch does not stay.
No, exactly.
In this room. Yeah.
No, yeah, we're whores. Just get it out there.
Yeah.
Horrors.
Yeah.
Whores. There you go.
Guilty. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
definitely.
good. So
well, I don't know. Should we talk about the ending?
Yeah, for sure. Please.
Okay, because the end of this movie is probably a huge part of why I love it. I
Okay.
love the end of this movie.
Did he get his comeuppance, or okay?
It's like, you know, like whenever somebody puts a piece of art out there, a movie, TV show, you never know how people are going to interpret it. But like, I see it like in a really cool feminist way myself.
Okay.
That you know, he has this like weird relationship with females, kind of a phobia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like all this stuff with mom, which is totally understandable because she was horrible. And then like they all just like get him and they tear him apart.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's wonderful because it's not really happening.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
brilliant.
I agree 100%. I mean, in his mind, they all get revenge.
I can't really think of a movie that does that like that.
Right.
Where, I mean, because he knows he's guilty. And
Yeah.
that's like why they're doing it. Is because he, like you said, like he's like, oh, I've done so wrong, so they're gonna get me.
Right.
And they do.
Yeah.
But
And they get him good.
Yeah, but instead
In his mind.
In his mind,
Yep.
and then he obviously, you know, has kind of an impalement that happens, but he's still kicking, like at the very end.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I always really love this movie because it just always seemed really grisly and
Yeah.
you know, and just like you're watching something like you said you shouldn't be watching. And
Yeah.
Tom Savini, again, I can't say how much I love Tom Savini.
We love him a lot.
So we do.
We love you so hard, Tom.
Yeah, Tom, really.
So hard.
Tom.
So
Why did I know that was coming? Why did I know you were gonna take it there to that place?
So hard.
That's okay.
He's not.
At least it was
stopping.
Caleb and not me.
So hard.
Yeah, you guys change it up. It's real
We did.
good.
We changed it up. See?
Yeah.
You don't know which one of us is going to be the most perverted. So
No, it's
it's like a happy day for you.
Exactly.
Today was my turn.
You did your turn. You did great.
You flipped the coin. So
Whiskey.
whiskey, yeah, whiskey, dude. And wine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Maniac. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we
Fantastic
both
movie.
liked the film a lot.
Yep.
We talked about it.
Love the creepy weird poster too. So gross. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about it. And then here's actually, this is the Blu-ray again that Bill's company Blue Underground put out, which we'll have a nice big picture of it like between us right here. So we got out of the way to have it. But it's got the cool lenticular. You can't really see it from there, but it's got a pretty neat lenticular of
It's there.
of the bulge.
The bulge.
The bulge.
Yeah.
And the
I,
knife and the scalp.
I say bulge. Bill says erection, but I.
Yeah.
Bulge sounds worse.
It sounds
which
worse,
makes-
doesn't
yeah.
it?
Well, I just don't see an erection there. Like.
I mean, I don't see an outline
It's
of.
interpretive. I mean, either way, there's something there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. There's absolutely something there, but.
Yeah. And a lot of blood,
just-
and like a little button issue,
Yep.
and like the belt and it's not good. It's very. I mean, it's so bad. It's good.
And
yeah.
he's got a lot of veins in his hand.
But
Yeah.
it's a great poster.
It is.
Like,
It
it
is.
really is a great
It
poster.
is though. It's brilliant.
I have that poster in my office at home. That of course Bill signed for me. It's an original 1980 poster.
It's right above his bed.
It's in my bed. It's on the ceiling.
You're looking down
So-
at you. The bulge
Yeah,
looks
exactly.
down
The bulge
at you.
looks down at me.
Can
so.
I have it?
I'll cut out just the bulge for you.
Oh my gosh! And then you're gonna be like him with the genitalia missing on the
That's
picture.
exactly, yeah. All thanks to Sandra.
Yeah.
I don't think your husband's letting you come back here ever again.
I don't think the authorities are gonna let me come back.
I think
here
we
ever
ruined
again.
her.
Yeah.
They have to find you first. Anyway.
And you know what? They won't down here.
Neil, you better hope she never disappears.
Suspect number
Holy
one.
Shit. Damn.
I wouldn't. We talk a big game.
Sandra, I will protect you because I love you.
You know what? I just want to
No.
say one last time. Well, that won't be my last time, but horror fans who love this kind of stuff, we love this stuff because we are able to be in touch with our more fantastical,
Yeah.
scary sides, whatever. But
Yeah.
ultimately, we're like the kindest, most
I'm a
gentle
vegetarian,
people.
for God's sake.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm
Should I-
scared of you even more now.
And a lot of horror fans are vegetarians and vegans too.
That's
Yeah.
true. There are. You're right. You're absolutely right. So there you go.
We are gentle folk.
We
the
are.
horror
We're like
fan.
the Gelflings. So we're very.
Well, Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people here, two of them here are vegetarians. So
That's right.
Pretty good odds. Yeah.
You know, a third.
I'm okay with being a gelfling.
That's good math.
Thanks.
I don't know. Anything else you want to say about the film? We close?
mean, I think it's pretty clear. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. It's a great film.
Oh, I think it was
Having
cool.
Bill here was freaking awesome. Talking to him.
Really cool. You don't get that opportunity every day.
No, we do not.
No, because people are busy. He's busy, dude.
Busy guy, still
Yeah.
working, got projects going.
Yeah.
So, okay, Maniac, go check it out again if you haven't yet. It's fantastical. Again, there's a 4K release out there. Or if you really got to really gritty, go find yourself a VHS like we have. Go check that out.
Yeah.
That's
It's also available on Amazon Prime right now if you have
Amazon, okay.
if you have a Prime account. So
Cool.
That's where I watched it.
Watch it. It's good for you. And take your children, for God's sakes.
It's fun for the whole family.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring your hooker mistress.
Sandra, again, would you mind maybe filling some folks in about Genre Junkies, where they can find you?
Of course. You can find us wherever your better podcasts are located. So Apple, Spotify, all those things. Genre Junkies, that's with a G and a J. all the places where one has social media, except Facebook. We don't have one of those.
So not Facebook.
No.
Okay, not one of the biggest ones
You can
out
even listen to it on YouTube. Yeah.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's a good thing. I like to learn things.
Great.
Nor I.
So you have a channel, the Genre Junkies channel?
Yeah, it's not any visual. It's just the audio. But a lot of people like to enjoy podcasts that way through YouTube. That's how they do it. So we're like, oh, cool. Well, we can help you with that.
So of course,
should we raise a
don't
pretzel?
forget, and then you can find us the Cult Film Series, again, where we watch movies live on Thursdays. I can't even talk anymore. There you go.
There you go.
Thursdays. On at the Roxy. Thank you very much. We show movies and we talk before the films, and then we of course have the Cult Show, which has the usual Instagram and Facebook. We have Facebook and Twitter, and those will kind of flash up over here. Find those in the description below. If you're listening to us on podcast, by the way, hello, podcast. We never actually say hi to the podcast people.
I know. I feel really left out.
Hi, Potters.
Yay! I like it.
How are you guys doing? Thank you for listening to us. This is just for you right now, the podcast listeners. You can find us, of course, on Apple and Stitcher and Spotify and, like you said, wherever else.
All your fine podcasts are sold.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that's everything. And you know what? You can actually email us at info@thecultshow.com.
I can?
You can.
Wow.
I know. It's this newfangled thing they invented.
Yeah, it's called AOL.
The Cult Show at AOL.com.
Yeah.
It's actually the Cult Show. No, info@thecultshow.com.
Yeah.
Find out how to be in our studio audience.
Because you want to be here.
You do.
It's good. You want to be here.
Instant message us.
Go back 15 years and
Neil's name is.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Freddie
fan.
6969.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
That'd be like a pretzel. You really can't eat these and talk at the same time.
You really can't. That, like, even holding it, there's like crumbs everywhere.
I don't know how Bill did that.
Well, he's a veteran.
Yeah.
Years of practice.
That is a skill. Eating pretzels on camera is a skill.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that. Anyway, all right. So if you're listening on podcast, thank you very much. If you're watching us on YouTube, we apologize for spitting pretzels at you. Caleb, what do you say?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yay.
That's all we got to say. Wanda, Michael, Steven, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Guys and gals, excuse me. Other than that, thanks for watching and listening. Talk to you soon.
this. Can't look at any of you. Shouldn't have looked over at you.
I'll be right back.